Good morning, everyone. My name is Akhil Pillai, and I am a first-year PGDM student at VES Business School. Today, we have with us an industry expert in the domain of data analytics, product management, data culture, strategy, and leadership, an alumnus from Harvard Business School and BITS Pilani, an author and a public speaker. He is currently working as the General Manager, Data and Analytics at Michelin, and is instrumental in building artificial intelligence consumption platforms and solutions for various business lines like manufacturing, supply chain, and services. Leading, hiring, and coaching a team of data scientists, this distinguished personality is the winner of Next 100 CIO Award for the year 2018, hosted by the IT Next magazine, and an Oracle ACE Associate for the year 2020. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Saurabh Gupta. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Akhil, and thanks everyone for having me here. I'd love to share my thoughts.
Thank you very much, sir. So my first question to you is, could you please walk us through the important milestone in your journey and enlighten us on the challenges that you have encountered on the way?
Sure. The biggest milestone of my career, I would be is to authoring my books. Okay, and I have been a screenplay writer in my college days, but I never thought that my passion to write something, write a content, will at some point in time will bring out the author within me. And the very first moment struck me in 2011 or 2012 when I started sending out my manuscripts to different publishers, and the response which I got was very, very encouraging. And in 2012, when I authored and published my first book, the response from the reader base was very good. And I think that was the biggest milestone of my career. And once, as a newbie author, you stem your foot in that industry, you get that confidence that, okay, you can do a lot more. And that prompted me to publish my second book in 2016 and my third in 2018. So I think I have my own reader base and students, and the last book was more for the architects. When they reach out to me saying that, okay, this book, this content, or this chapter citations, they have helped them in learning the concepts much better. I think that is what pleases me a lot. The second milestone is the Next 100 CIO, which brought me in a different circle altogether. And that was the time when you want to take that step in your career to move from one layer to another. And I think Next 100 CIO, and thanks to IT Next magazine, who ran through a very, very rigorous process for 8 to 10 months, and then they cherry pick those 100 names. And they're fine if they do not reach 100 because they do not want to compromise on the criteria of the process. So that was my second. And third, I would say, is when I moved into the analytics industry, because all my career was onto the data, and someone coming with the data administration, architecture, management background, it requires a bit of I would say strengths to move into the analytics and data science. So the time I started pursuing my master's from BITS Pilani to have a proper structured understanding training on data science, I think that was my third milestone, because it required a lot of grit and guts to pursue a rigorous program for 2 years. So yes, I think I'm happy end of the day that I made it, and I'm happy to flip through that career, although I'm connected both the sides. But that gave me a lot of confidence of doing and achieving something. What you think of?
Inspiring indeed. Thank you, sir. So next question is, what are the prerequisites and core foundational skills that an aspiring data scientist need to get acquainted with? Also, does geometry and statistics have any significant correlation with the curriculum of data science, according to you?
Well, the very first skill that one needs to have to pursue a career in data science is the problem solving ability and the ability to ask questions and understanding and articulating the problems well. And I'll take a little digression to the question, saying that and data science is not a new topic. Okay, all these terms, and if you search the internet, if you search the LinkedIn, you'll find multiple roles, multiple profiles, post, group, subject, topics, everything around the data science and AI. But if you take a step back and think that from where it all started, everything was there since the last 50, 60 years, and even prior to that. And once you start getting into the subject, you'll find many concepts that we learned in our early stages classes, 6th, 7th, 8th. But those are the fundamentals. But the way the entire perspective of the industry has changed, that this is not maths, this is AI, and this is not AI, this is data science, this is data analysis. I think that is where our complexities of understanding a subject has gone into. And the basic skill is problem solving skill, analytical way of thinking, asking more and right questions, and using data as a lever to solve those problems. Okay, so end of the day, it's the data, the quality of data, the volume of data, and the way you think, the way you look at a particular problem. And then you have set of tools, which are your models, algorithms, regressions, optimizations, classifications, predictions. So these are the tools. You have all the raw, I would say, stuff on your table, which is data, and then you have your own skill, that where should I apply this tool on this data to get out something. And then a very important skill, of course, with all these things done and said, is how do you communicate? Because in data science, there are a lot many assumptions which you will make. And if I ask you that out of 5 of us, who may be probably the 6th person who can join this meeting, okay, just a fictional scenario, and you might be having someone from your friends, someone living in my house who can show up on this screen, that is that will be based on certain assumptions, right? So how do you communicate those assumptions? How do you strongly tell the story of the outcome which you have just got from a certain model is a very, very important skill. In the starting phase, when everything was revolving around the technology, it may not be very proponent straight away that, okay, you have to communicate this story in a proper way. But nowadays, it is very much expected out of a data scientist, whichever role or level you are playing, junior, senior, associate, or wherever you are, that you communicate the story in the right format, in the way everyone can understand. So data and AI storytelling is also a very critical skill. Now, to the second part of your question, geometry and statistics, these are the fundamentals. This statistical analysis is very, very much required. That helps you right throughout the process, starting from data profiling, understanding what the data is, what the different features are, and some of the things get overlapped with the exploratory data analysis. But statistics is something that will help you in quantitative and developing the mathematical models of a problem. Seeing the things from the statistical way is quite critical for to build an AI system. In geometry, yes, no, that is, I would say, geometry is, of course, some of the terms like cosine, similarity, and that will be again a critical pillar of your mathematical modeling of a problem. So I would say it's a very much required skill. Most of the concepts will come back from our junior days, what we learned in 8th, 9th, and 10th standards. But yes, little bit more healthier in terms of algorithms and models that you implement.
Right, sir. So next is, what are the contemporary resources available for validating the knowledge and skill acquired by a student who is pursuing data analytics, according to you?
So, sure. I think the internet is a vast library of resources. Okay, and especially for students, my advice would be that you pick up a channel, pick up a mode, pick up a platform where you want to study and pursue and learn the skills related to AI and data science. The challenge which I see is internet is a very, very opinionated place. Okay, So if you flip through the channels, for now you are on one platform to learn data science skills. Tomorrow you find, okay, something else is quite better. So you flip through you change the track, you went somewhere else, and then again you find something very, very fascinating and you flip through the platform. So what I would say, there's a plethora of information available, but stick to a platform. And irrespective of the names, like there is a Coursera, there's a Udemy of the words, and then you have Upgrad, and nowadays you have the instructor-led structured program. Like the business schools are also running several courses, the MOOC courses, and even the certificate program, executive programs around data science and analytics. Pick up one of them, and there's a very simple framework. What do you want end of the day? Do you wish to excel the technology? Do you wish to get technology from a certified vendor, which is maybe a college? Okay, like IIM is also running certain courses, then triple ITs are running the certain courses. And then, or do you want to, restrict yourself to just to self-learn and self-build person, and then go out in the industry all with your knowledge? That will help you to get to filter down, to funnel down which platform do you want to pursue, and pursue that from start to end. Don't break in between. If you break in between, then you have already taken the first hit of not being clear where you want to go. Okay, so if you have taken that milestone that you have to make it happen, take it from the start to end, stick to one platform, and then take a call. Do you want more, or is that sufficient skill set which you want to take out in the industry?
Sir, how the hiring process has evolved for the domain of analytics? Like, what were the traditional approaches to hire data analytics students, according to you, like you have witnessed before?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it has evolved, but it has refined over time, of course. Okay, so initially it was more around definitions. Okay, tell me what is this, tell me what is that, what's regression, what is chi-square test or something like this. That was more definition oriented, and if someone has mucked up the definition, still okay, you are familiar with the terms, you come on the board, we will provide you that atmosphere where you can learn and flourish. But nowadays, I think especially when I look at the freshers, when I look at the college pass out, my expectation is that stickiness with the technology. Okay, so it's not just today I have learned Java, tomorrow I learn AI, and then I will move forward. But the expectation is that everything is connected, right? So end-to-end ecosystem, understanding of an ecosystem is also important. If not at the expertise or the associate level experience, you at least understand how these different components play a role in building an AI system. Okay, AI system is not just data, it's not just statistics. There are multiple components which come together to build an AI system. Otherwise, things are good to be laid down just in a white paper. That's a research that is done and said and kept on side. When you're actually working on the execution side, building an AI system, there's a data, statistics, and then the software engineering, the ML engineering, the automation, the DevOps, everything comes together to build an AI system. Don't have expertise in everything. That would not be my suggestion, but at least have a fair level of understanding of how these components connect together. And in terms of hiring, what basically I look at is the motivation. That are you motivated to work in this with these components or not, or in these technologies or not? The last time when I went for college hiring, these things are okay. Then students will come out and say these are the terms, these are the technologies, tools that they have worked with in the past. But what I'm actually looking for is that do they know how to apply these things with a real problem? Okay, do they know that, okay, if they set a problem, if I give you a problem, how open you are to apply analytical thinking to solve that problem. Okay, and these tools, technologies, these are enablers. Okay, so even if you tell me that, okay, we'll start with the data profiling, we'll start with then building up the module and model, and then we will start with the development of the solution, that is perfectly fine. So I think it's all about structuring and the motivation of the problem, and your thought process, your motivation to carry out until the solution.
Right, sir. So, do you think there will be any, influence of this pandemic on the hiring process, like going forward? Or
First of all, pandemic I think was a great opportunity period for especially for this generation, because our generation is sort of the transition between the earlier ways of working to this digital way of working. But this last year, when the entire world was affected uniformly, that has given the opportunity for everyone to take a step back and understand what the digital and AI and data will look like. And that has given a sense of responsibility as well, that, okay, these things was not just the matter of conferences and speaking and writing or blogging, but it has actually come down and hit us. And now we realize that if we don't do it now, we are actually missing the bus and will be nowhere in certain time. So, but there's an opportunity side of it, and then there is a vigilance side of the pandemic. Now we are more vigilant. Industry is more vigilant on who has to work on what, and that has impacted hiring a little bit. Uh, it's difficult to say that positive or negative. The hiring is still going on in the industry in a much more regulated manner. Okay, so more than the need based, it has become the long term. So industry is planning to have these positions who can mature and evolve over the long term, not just the period of say 1 to 2 years, because digital transformation, modernization, building of AI systems do not happen in a quarter or two. Instead, it's a journey which carries on for 3 to 5 years. Okay, so keeping that in mind, the roles are, I would say, very, very specifically designed, termed in a way that it should sound like it's a journey. It's not for a particular project. Okay, so the hiring has impacted, but there is a positive side of this impact, and the way the industry is looking for is a little more prolonged period of retention of these roles.
true, sir. So also like the due to this pandemic, there has been an economic slowdown, and it has cascading effects on many industries globally. So,
Yeah.
being an expert from data analytics industry, do you think the data analytics has that much needed solution that can help in mitigating these repercussions of the pandemic, according to you?
Well, I must say it's a tricky question because now we are trying to see different problems, different impacts through the aspects of data analytics. Now, data and analytics, there are three use cases which primarily the data analytics solves. Okay, it helps you in optimizing everything: process, cost, price, everything. Okay, and second is to build new businesses. Okay, build new business processes, build new products, and third is your research. Okay, so right now I do not have anything. I'm building up a solution for nothing. But over the time, if I find a gap, if I find a use case, I'll try to fit this solution over there. So these are primarily three things. And personally, I try to fit all my problem use cases into this. Now, thinking about the economic slowdown, the pressure comes to your commercials, okay, your commercial strategy, your budgeting. Where do you want to invest? Where do you don't want to invest? I'm talking about very, very industrial standpoint. It may be a different horizon if you think from large economies or say country standpoint, geography and demographic standpoint. But if you funnel down to the industries, they want to optimize the processes and they want to optimize the cost. which goes out in many of the internal company processes. So, of course, data analytics, the primary use case which will come out to be is the optimization. Now, when I talk about the optimization, that means your process optimization, your the things will become more predictive. Forecasting, demand and forecasting will be more predictive, and that is the one use case where most of the industries are, are making taking big strides. The more and more the supply chain, the demand forecast becomes predictive, and you have a view of what you are going to plan, what you're going to do in the next couple of quarters or say 1 year horizon, that will give you an additional power to plan your inventory that way, plan your resources that way. This is where the data analytics is going to, the use cases are going to see a jump. The second area is around the the process innovation and you develop the new revenue streams. Um, if you take a say last 1 year or so, whenever this pandemic has hit, globally the level of innovation has gone up. The indexes of innovations have gone up. And when you start planning for innovations, you start with the certain themes in mind that, okay, what you're going to do with innovation, how you're going to bring the changes in the people, in the way of working. Do you anticipate any of the resistance there? And the new innovation products are going to, are going to maximize. For example, in my circle or even in my organization, the way we are looking at the innovation in data analytics plus the optimization use cases, we take them very, very sensitively, I would say. Our optimization programs, the products that are related to the optimization, we try to keep a full focus on these things and say that we should have a measure of by what factor of optimizations do we anticipate once the systems are upon the rolls. While the innovation products, then we have to, there are other factors that needs to be planned. How we are going to position them, how we are going to make them live through their life, and what are the outcomes, what are the deliverables. Similarly, so I'm giving an example. This is how there are two streams, optimization and the innovation, which will bring some change, which will bring some direct impact. And I think with this pandemic, there will be a lot focus on the optimization projects before we jump onto the innovation products of data and AI.
Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. So before concluding, I just want to tell that it was an enriching experience and a profound session from you, where we get to know, from an industry expert about the various nuances that is there in the world of data analytics. Also, giving our students the much needed insights to plan a successful career in the field of data scientist as a data science. So thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule and giving us that much needed information so that we all can benefit from it. So with this, I conclude this interview. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thanks, Akhil.